much. As you can see in our discussion today, we are drilling down, and mine is very much at the practical level. And you'll see from the screen that this is a presentation by myself and by Myriam Narcisse, who is the Executive Director of the Haiti Adolescent Girls Network. United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan was famous for saying there could be no development without security, no security without development, and neither of them without human rights. He urged the nations of the world and the functioning of UN machinery to advance the principles of freedom from want and fear and freedom to live in dignity. What you see is a street scene in Haiti. The Public-Private Alliance Foundation is a non-governmental organization with several United Nations linkages: the Department of Public Information, the Economic and Social Council, and the UN Global Compact. Begun within the UN as an ECOSOC initiative, its motto is policies into practice. In Haiti, PPAF is working with other organizations to advance health, environment, and economic benefits, including solar and biogas for cooking as an alternative to charcoal. In the course of its work, PPAF has connected with the Haiti Adolescent Girls Network. HAGN, as it's called, organizes and maintains special programs for vulnerable girls in the capital city and other locations, and now has a total of some 4,000 participants. HAGN embodies at a very practical level the aims of security, development, and human rights, and support of the health, dignity, and well-being of girls otherwise at risk of limited schooling, early pregnancy, early marriage, negative self-worth, and a bleak future. Our purpose in this meeting is to broaden awareness of HAGN's important work, to show it as an example of an innovative approach, and to invite partnerships by those in a position to act: NGOs, government units, businesses, and others. Next picture. HAGN was established in the wake of Haiti's horrific 2010 earthquake as a collective of local and international partners committed to the empowerment, safety, health, and well-being of girls. HAGN and partners focus on creating safe spaces where girls can regularly meet and build up their social, economic, cognitive, and health-related assets. Girls in Haiti face many disproportionate and often unrecognized problems, including high rates of discrimination and gender-based violence, underrepresentation in school enrollment and literacy, inadequate access to health services, shortage of employment opportunities, the list goes on. Given the neglect of girls in typical children's, youth, or women's programs after the earthquake, and the dearth of organizations working on prevention, risk mitigation, and empowerment for the most excluded, which is to say the bottom 25% of girls, HAGN founders and partners established a program of weekly meetings for groups of girls known as Espace Pam. In these gatherings, girls could learn about sexual and reproductive health and gender relations, build financial literacy and employability, and create friendships with peers and mentors. Today, HAGN is a Haitian owned and organized entity that comprises 14 member organizations managing safe space groups for over 4,000 girls and adolescents ages 10 through 19 in 4 geographic areas. This includes Anse-à-Pitre in the southeast, where some of the persons recently deported from the Dominican Republic subsist in Mexico. 2 features distinguish the HAGN model. Number 1, a focus on the most vulnerable and off-track girls. That is to say, out of school, married or with children, living with one or neither parent, in school but 2 years behind for grade age. These are identified through community surveys. Number 2, leadership by local mentors. Groups are facilitated by trained and paid female mentors ages 18 through 30 who come from the same communities. HAGN operates on the premise that investing in girls in a way that allows them to realize their potential both upholds their human rights and can shift social norms that impede development outcomes. This approach is drawing participation from grassroots, Haitian-led social service and advocacy organizations, large international NGOs, and government and bilateral development institutions. Because HAGN values local knowledge and expertise and recognizes the strength of collaboration among stakeholders, it is developing a sustainable initiative, and it is becoming an important part of the social fabric of Haiti. Today's panel discussion gives emphasis to displaced and refugee populations. Responding to the crisis that started in 2015 with tens of thousands of Haitians being deported from the Dominican Republic, HAGN started working in the border town of Ansa-Pipa and its neighboring areas in July of 2016. This involved preparing community mapping and household surveys, including where deportees were living in tents. Out of 3,000 households surveyed, some 900 girls ranging from 10 to 24 years of age were selected for intervention and the creation of weekly meeting groups. As of 2018, HAGN is piloting an income generation activity component to its programming there to strengthen participating girls' financial autonomy. Honey production training is scheduled for September 2018, and access to loans for small business is being pursued. Next picture. In 2017, HAGN invited my organization, PPAF, to help with a pilot to introduce solar cookers as an innovation for income generation among a selected group in the Port-au-Prince area. The HAGN clubs include efforts to stimulate girls' entrepreneurship, increase their economic security, and break the cycle of poverty through training and seed funding for micro-enterprises. LLC, and from Solar Cookers International, the world's leading advocate and resource for solar cooking solutions. The representative is here today. And solar ovens in place, 16 girls have been trained, and the next group of 10 girls are to be trained in cooking and baking in September 2018. The aim is to test to see if solar ovens are a useful way to help the girls make popular snacks and start their own eco-friendly cooking businesses. The girls to see whether this approach achieves the stated purposes and is replicable. The big vision is to expand so that families in the program touches will adopt solar cooking and gain the benefits of better health, reduced expenditures on charcoal, and improvement of the environment. The midterm vision is that marginalized girls can learn new skills, develop financial literacy, improve their health, and take steps toward becoming agents of change in their community. This picture that you see on the screen is Myriam Narcisse with me, and the backdrop is Carrefour, Haiti, just outside Port-au-Prince. What you see on that hillside are small houses and shacks. And Myriam has been to the top of that with community survey and mapping with her team. PPAF and HAGN will welcome broader public awareness and organizations' adoption of the My Space Club's approach and solar cooking as an option for small-scale businesses. Greater attention to challenges and opportunities in relation to girls, especially marginalized girls, is tremendously important. This deserves planning and action, as I've said, by NGOs, government units, and businesses alike. Economic empowerment is an option that must be and has started to be considered. Entrepreneurship training, small businesses, appropriate income generating opportunities, and across the various elements of the population of girls. Support and action is possible. Great leverage from such investment can be had. Thank you.